All right, on today's Hot OTM podcast, we're going to talk about an individual that raised $100,000 for a grandma. We're also going to talk about an entertainment, a punk show that will sell you a ticket but will require a vaccine. What? And then lastly, we're going to talk about in the gun corner, another win for the 2A community. Franklin Armory is involved in a lawsuit. So here we go at the Hot OTM Podcast. Transmitting from sunny Southern California, capital of entertainment, beautiful ladies, and great whiskey. You're listening to the Hot OTM Podcast, where we discuss politics, guns, entertainment, music, and all the controversial topics we can find. Here are your hosts, Hector Robles and Christian Mejia. All right, so imagine you're in your house, there's no electricity, everything's falling apart, you're cold, and there's no furniture, the bed's all messed up, and somebody says, hey, I know that you're in this bad situation. I've raised $100,000 for you to help you with your home. Would you care if they were Republicans, if they were Democrats, if they were black, or if they were white? Would you really care? Well, that's actually the situation that AOC's her grandma finds herself in. Apparently, some guy named Matt Walsh had fundraised over $100,000 for AOC's grandma, and they turned down the money. And this kind of makes me think two different things. Either the grandma didn't really need the money, and it was just a ploy from AOC to throw shade at the President Trump and how, the system was failing, and the Democrats are there to be the heroes. It's either that or AOC is such a piece of crap that no one else can take credit but her or people from her team. Either way, it's a really crappy, just human being. Either way that you look at it. If you truly need the help, you take the help and you say thank you. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. We're human beings first. And if you need the help, take the help, and I kind of compare it to like boxers and MMA fighters. If you think about it, like a good professional, a true champion in MMA, they may get their ass beat and obviously they're devastated, but they're going to get up and they're going to take their loss, man. They're going to take it like a man and say, you know what? This guy, he beat me, but I'm coming back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be inside the gym, and tomorrow I'm going to come back. This isn't the end of me. They man up. And I almost feel it's the same situation here. It's like, you know what? My grandma was in a bad situation. I'll give you guys the win. You guys, I appreciate what you guys have done. And, if I can pay back in some way, thank you guys. You have to give credit where credit is due, man. You can't just be like, oh, no, they're the opposite team. If they were kind enough to do that, and they weren't doing it as a situation to be a-holes or anything. It was truly like they were funding it like they're like, well, and she's in need, we can fund some money, we can raise some money, and it gets taken care of. But it's, to me, it just shows how shitty, and that the fact that you can't trust AOC and you can't trust a lot of these politicians. And I'm not even talking about just the left. The right has a lot of politicians as well that you can't trust. What's that saying? They say that diapers and politicians need to be changed often and for the same reason. So I kind of agree with that. There's very few politicians that I would trust, and you're probably looking at like Rand and Ron Paul, some true libertarians there. But I just kind of wanted to mention that I'm sure you've probably heard this whole story, but it's very sad when we can't help each other as human beings because it doesn't meet the agenda. So anyway, that's what I got there, and we are moving on to entertainment. on entertainment today, the punk scene. What's the first thing that runs through your mind when you think punk?
Anarchy!
All right, so the guys here in the studio say anarchy. They say, guys with mohawks. And I think, people who say F you to the establishment, right? Well, in Florida, apparently there's a punk show going on. And there was a report about this. The punk show wants you to make sure that you're vaccinated to protect your family and to protect everyone else and to make sure that you're safe. They're doing this for your safety. And they're asking for your, in order to even buy a ticket, they're asking you to have your vaccine card. Do they ask for your STD card as well before you go into these shows to make sure that you're safe and everyone else is safe? I mean, to me, if you really think about it, it's discriminatory. I mean, without a doubt, like they're asking you for medical records. If we're not safe, if the people who are already vaccinated aren't safe from you, even if you did have it, then what's the point of getting vaccinated? I mean, it's such a moronic, like that. It just makes absolutely no sense. And on top of it, it's the punk scene. You're supposed to be the anti-establishment who doesn't give a shit about what the government wants. But they're falling in line like sheep. And they keep on asking, how did the Nazis ever get into power? How were people such sheep? And how did they just follow directions when they were told? Because even the freaking punks were following directions. That's exactly what's happening right now. These guys don't even want to sell you a ticket to a punk show. I'm not talking about the opera. I'm not talking about, an orchestra. I'm talking about the punk guys, the guys that spit on the floor and are sweating in a mosh pit. Those people want to make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you follow your government guidelines. I have to say it. We've become so pampered as a society. We're there's that saying that says that hard times bring strong men, and good times bring weak men. And I think that we've had too much of a good time in America, and just men they're fucking pussies, dude. That's what it comes down to. That's it. That's what it comes down to. All right. Well, in this report, there's a lady who wants to go to the show, and they won't even sell her a ticket. The ticket, well, technically you can buy a ticket. The regular ticket to get in is $20. But if you can't show proof that you have a vaccine card, it's $1,000. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, they should just boycott that whole show overall. And even the band members were like, oh, no, yeah, we're all vaccinated. Everything's cool, man. You should be protected. It's like, weak men. Straight up, I'm straight up going to use a line from a couple of shows that I've seen out there. Straight up betas, dude. These guys are such pussies that it just bothers me, the fact that if you don't follow the government's rules and regulations, that you're a bad person. Anyway, that's what I have to say with that situation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Comment below. Leave your opinions on this. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong, but I really doubt it. I really, really doubt it. So anyway, that's what we got on these vaccine situation now. Apparently, actually, before I forget as well, Ticketmaster is you have to buy, when you're buying your tickets, you have to present a COVID pass as well, or have like a test within 72 hours. Who's to say that you didn't catch it on your way there and then you got it and you spread it to everyone else? Like, it makes absolutely no sense, man. And on top of it, just think about this. They're asking for the vaccine, right? But the death rate, man, you have a 99.97 chance of surviving this. I think it's even higher than the flu. But that's what you need to do to save people's lives. it's unbelievable, man. The stupidity of what our society has gotten to it's sad. I mean, that's all I can say. It's just sad and full of sheep, I guess you could say. But if you're on this channel, obviously you're not. So thank you so much for tuning in to our podcast. All right, with that being said, we're moving on to one of my favorite topics here, the gun corner. All right, this is for all my fellow Californians here in Little China in America, basically you could call it. This is the most communist state in the United States of America. And we've been fighting the good fight here, and there's a certain lawsuit that's been allowed to proceed. It's called the Title I. Well, what it is, there's a certain type of firearm that the state of California wasn't allowing Franklin Armory, which is a company that sold this firearm. They weren't allowing them to sell the firearm. It wasn't against the law. It just wasn't a pistol, it wasn't a rifle, and it wasn't a shotgun. It didn't meet any of those three qualifications. It met the fourth one, which is other. But what these little sneaky musketeers did is they didn't put the other category, even though they tell you that you have to set it up in the other category, they didn't put that inside the computer system. So you can't actually buy it because it needs to be entered into the computer system. So what was happening is it's legal, but they weren't allowing you to buy it. So they were infringing on your constitutional right. And so there was a lawsuit by the manufacturer, Franklin Armory. And it's been allowed to move forward. It looks like we may have gotten one for the team right here. And this is the second one in a row. That assault weapon ban has been challenged by St. Benitez here in California as well, the judge in San Diego. And now this, I mean, everything's churning around, man, with the whole gun rights, where it seems like maybe some of the people that were in the middle, that were Democrats, maybe they're starting to realize that it's not a Democrat or a Republican situation, it's a freedom situation. So, I don't know. It's very good news. I'm happy that this lawsuit is continuing. And there's two different lawsuits. There's one by the manufacturer, and then there's a second one by regular citizens. I'm actually part of that. It's like a class action lawsuit. Because I did try to buy this gun and I couldn't get the gun. So I did sign up as in the class action lawsuit that they have. But that one still, I haven't heard any news on that one. But this one, it's just good news because we're moving forward. There's people that are fighting for our rights, and we have to join that fight as well. So it's just really good news for all the people in California and a lot of people from other states. I mean, this can set precedents so they can't infringe your rights on those other states. So I think it's good news all around for the whole gun community, and just happy news to bring to the table. And I'm always happy to bring good news. So that's pretty much what we have for today. Again, if this is your first time that you've been on our channel, definitely sign up for, subscribe. Give us a like. Always try to leave comments because that also helps us generate, more traffic and get, our message out to more people. So we definitely want to thank you for joining us again. And you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. If you would like to donate, please join us on Subscribestar. Thank you again from all of us here at the OTM Podcast, and you have a great night.